Hello, Paul Mott with Coyote Vest. Today I'm going to show you how to adjust the straps on your new Coyote Vest. Let's begin by taking a closer look at this medium Coyote Vest. All of the Coyote Vests, irrespective of their size, will have a waistband and a collar. So let's first take a look at this waistband. The waistband has a couple of different pieces on here, and I want to show you how these work by taking it completely apart. So I'm going to slide these little plastic parts off of the strap and show you what they are. This is called the prong or the clasp, part of the buckle. You'll notice it's got a little curve in it. The curved part goes down. This is called a tri-glide. Again, it has a little bit of a curved part to it. The flat part is considered down. So if I ever want to take this completely apart and put it back together with just a strap, what I do is I take the strap and I come up through the bottom of the tri-glide and back down and slide that along all the way up to the top. Now I take the strap and double it back over, and now I come up through the clasp, through the bottom forward slot, turn around and come back down through the back slot. And now I can slide this clasp up and down. And I want to take the strap and I want to go back through the tri-glide again. Now you notice before I do that, if I was to pull on this, it would just slide. So it's really important that you take the strap and go back through the tri-glide one more time. In through the bottom, back out through the back side. And now then, the strap is locked. It won't slip. If you do need to slide it, you just adjust it. You just slide the cable through the strap through the tri-glide and pull it tight. And we'll actually get this adjusted properly when we put it on the dog. You'll notice the tri-glide can actually move around like this. It's best to move it all the way up onto the vest. That way your dog will never feel it and won't even know it exists. Now looking at the collar, this collar can actually be removed from the Coyote Vest. What we need to do is open up these little Velcro tabs here on the end, and then we can just take it right off of the vest. And you'll see that this is pretty much a standard collar. It also has a tri-glide and a clasp, but it's all locked together. You can't really take it apart. There's no loose ends, but you can slide it along and make it longer, or you can make it shorter. And you can actually replace this with your own collar. You don't have to use this collar. It works great, but if you have a different one you prefer, you can certainly use it. All you have to do is put it back on the vest right here. And I usually like to put the female end here of the clasp right up against the vest. Close that tab. Put the collar down here, close that tab. And so now the collar's on there fine. So now we're ready to go put this on the dog and get it adjusted perfectly. So this is my dog Cody, and he's going to show us how to properly adjust the Coyote Vest. We'll start by putting it on him. First we're going to work on the collar. So I'm going to go ahead and see how well it closes. And right now I can tell it's a little bit tight. So what I want to do is I want to loosen up the collar on the end where the male buckle is. And I want to slide the tri-glide along until I get a little bit more slack. Then I'll cinch that down one more time. And I'll just try and see how it fits. Oh, I went a little too far. So I better go back a little bit, a little too loose. But noticing where the tri-glide is, I'm going to move it back to about right there. Pull the collar tight. And then check and see how my fit is. And that seems just about perfect. Now then, what we're going to do is work on the waist strap. So we'll pull this around underneath of him. You can kind of see how I'm doing it here. And you can see that, oh gosh, that's a little bit too loose. So what I want to do is just come over here and tighten up the waistband a little bit. So I'll slide it, the strap through the tri-glide, pull that a little bit tighter. Now I'll come back over here, test that again. Still a little bit too loose. I'm going to go just a little bit tighter. Pull that. Make it just a little bit tighter. There we go. A little bit more. You really want to get it just right. And now then, that feels pretty good. And you'll notice now that my finger can go up under there. It's not too loose, it's not too tight, it's just right. This is really important to have it just right, otherwise the vest might slip. So it's kind of like a belt on your pants. If it's too tight, it hurts. If it's too loose, it doesn't work. So you really have to get it just right. And you may have to adjust it. My dogs kind of fluctuate. Sometimes they have a little bit too much to eat and they gain a little bit, or sometimes they lose a little bit. So it's not uncommon to have to adjust this waist belt every once in a while to make sure that it stays right. So now the Coyote vest is adjusted properly. The collar looks good. The waist strap looks good. The last thing we need to do is figure out what to do with this extra waistband strap. So basically we have two different choices to try and deal with this little bit of extra bit of waist strap here. By far the most simplest solution, once you know that you've got it adjusted perfectly, is to just cut it. So you always want to leave yourself a little bit of extra space here in case you need to make some more adjustments. So don't cut it real close, but leave yourself 3 or 4 inches of material in case you need to make some adjustments. Now please keep in mind, once you cut it like this, the vest cannot be returned. So it's really important that you are very happy with the vest before you cut it. Now, when you do cut this kind of material, I have a little scrap piece here so that I don't actually cut this vest. Here I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut it. And you'll notice that it might start to fray up a little bit over time. This kind of webbing is actually pretty good, but over time it might start to fray a little bit. So the way you can prevent that from happening is to just use a lighter and a little bit of flame here and just briefly touch that end of it. It'll kind of melt it a little bit and that'll control the fraying. So that's the easy way to get rid of the extra strap. What I like to do is something a little bit more creative, and this actually keeps the strap complete in case this vest ever needed to be used on a different dog or if I needed to make a lot of major adjustments. There's a real simple trick you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little bit of extra material here, and I'm actually going to just turn around and go backwards through. I'm going to go back this way through, underneath, through the tri-glide. Okay. And take up all that extra slack. Don't pull it all the way because it'll come out if you do that. Then I'm going to go back through the clasp on the end. And then I'm going to come back up in here and just go back up under there. So this way, the strap is just kind of folded up on itself. It's nothing dangling, it's out of the way, it's plenty strong, it's secure. And if I ever needed to have all of this strap for adjustment on a much larger dog, for example, it's all still there. So this is a real great way to do it.